Let's get right to the point on this one. My battery's dying. Fucking God. Okay, here we go. I feel like I need to establish some credentials first. So, my parents were alcoholics when I was growing up. No offense, Mom, love you. They just like to party. I like to party at a young age, and so even in high school, I was getting suspended, getting arrested, all alcohol related. And then as a young adult, car accidents, multiple DUIs, blacking out constantly, waking up God knows where, with God knows who. I would literally cry when the bar closed. Oh, the good old days. Anyway, still, sometimes I feel like I'm not a real alcoholic. Like I'm not as alcoholic-y as those other alcoholics, you know? But here's the thing. That is just a word, and it doesn't really matter what you call it. I was fucking up my life, and then I stopped. So why did I get sober? I feel like that's the question that everybody wants the magic answer for. Or maybe not everybody, but you know, those who want to get sober. And I don't know, I think it's like a two-part question. Like, why did I get sober? What was the catalyst? But also, how did I stay sober for the last 9 years? So why did I quit drinking? I did talk about this in my 5-year sober video about just all the different like catalysts that added up to me quitting drinking, but quick recap. I did a short stretch of sobriety when I was younger. My boss at the time sort of forced me into it. I did not want to do it, but in hindsight, I'm glad I did, because had I not experienced it, I don't think I would have chose it later. I also, after my second DUI, had to do AA meetings, court mandated, and there was a woman's story at a meeting that really just hit me. I related to it, so I still didn't quit drinking, but it stuck with me. I started thinking about it a lot. Then I punched Luke in the face one night and gave him a black eye, and that was kind of the final straw. But yeah, by that point, my life was honestly just chaos. And I loved that for a while. Like, honestly, it was part of my identity. Working salons, I would just like come in every day with new wild, crazy stories. I was always one-upping myself and just entertaining my coworkers and my clients. So yeah, I feel like I was like scared to lose that identity. I loved alcohol. It really was my first love. So why did I choose sobriety? I don't know. I just feel like things were crazy and it was getting exhausting, and people in my life were sick of it, and just like something had to give, I guess. I don't think I really thought it would be a forever thing. I feel like it was just kind of, I mean, it was just a temporary solution, I guess. So I guess that's my advice. If you're considering, just do it. Know that it doesn't necessarily have to be forever, but try it, do it temporarily, see what happens. It's not easy to stick with it once you choose it either. I mean, it's not like life just magically gets better once you quit drinking. Your life is as it was. It's just you're more clearly seeing it now, which is kind of worse at first. So why did I stick with it for 9 years? So I want to read you something. I had found this journal from 2013, and I shrunk it down into a mini journal so I could fit it inside my big journal, so it lives in this pocket. Anyway, so I wanted to keep this whole journal because this is kind of cool. I started the journal on New Year's Day in 2013, just randomly, New Year, new journal, and talked about that I drink too much And then the next entry was literally after my second DUI. And then I was court mandated to go to AA, like I said, and so I started just writing every time I went to an AA meeting. Like I was writing about, I don't know, what I got out of it. So it just sort of turned into like a drinking journal, not on purpose. And then the last entry, which I didn't realize until just recently when I found it, the last entry is March 6, 2014, which is 4 days before I quit drinking. So that's cool because it's like I literally used that journal for that time in my life while I was figuring this out, and then I literally just put it down and never picked it up again. Anyway, so I was flipping through it because 9 years, and I wanted to read you. Third meeting today, same one, approximately 20 people. Jill, we're gonna call her, spoke. Man, it was powerful. From her childhood to her alcohol and coke addiction to 8 years of sobriety to relapsing on Klonopins to prison and to now, 2.5 years clean again. I keep coming back to thinking about what my story is, but then I was just thinking it's probably only just begun. I'm only 25. But that's scary because I don't want my story to get worse. So then I think maybe my story is done. But then Jill, 8 years and then a relapse. Prison came after 8 years of sobriety. Holy fuck, I always thought I could learn to manage my drinking problem, to learn to be a normal drinker. But life is long, and if I'm just never going to be able to do that, then my life is going to be a long and constant struggle. 8 years, wow. It really has to be a lifetime commitment to staying sober. Am I ready for that? I'm still not even ready to give it up yet. What then? I need something worse to happen to me? Because if I've learned anything, it's that it will. It's only a matter of time. So, I don't know, I just thought that was cool because, like, 8 years sober, I apparently thought that that was such a long time. Like, it's like I couldn't imagine being sober for 8 years. And then she relapsed again, and it was like I was realizing that I couldn't just do, like, a stretch and then figure it out and be a normal drinker. Anyway, whatever. My point is, 8 years seemed like such a long time to me, and now here we are, 9 years sober, and it's just flown by. It does not feel like that was a big deal at all. So, yeah, pretty cool. I guess I just want to end with things that have helped keep me sober, because I want to share that with those of you who need inspiration. So the first thing, literal first thing that kept me sober was telling everyone. I maybe didn't say it on day one, but once I like really decided this is what I was gonna do, I told everyone, my family, my friends, my clients, everyone online, on Facebook. And that definitely helped hold me accountable. I'm very proud and would have a hard time like doing that and then going back to it. So I still use that technique now. I literally just did that when I quit smoking cigarettes in December. I made a YouTube video about it. The other thing that definitely kept me sober was finding new hobbies and sports. So for a lot of people, AA is that thing, and that is great if that is what you're into. I did get a lot out of AA, I guess, in the beginning, but in the end, I'm not a very social person. And so I think that's why some people like AA, because you lose your social life from drinking with those drinking friends, and now you can replace it with new sober friends at AA. So for me, finding hobbies and sports. So I had mentioned this on my last video, but I got into snowboarding first, and then skydiving, and then circus arts, and then hiking, and YouTube is kind of another one. So those are all like new, healthier addictions for me. I definitely just swapped one addiction for another, but I don't know, is that bad? They helped to get me excited about life, fill my time, and once I became like attached to these things, I really knew that if I went back to drinking, I wouldn't be able to live this new lifestyle that I live now. Drinking is too time consuming and energy consuming. So yeah, I love my life now. I'm so grateful for it. And it helps keep me sober every day. Similar to that, I've also just grown a lot as a person. Like I said, I'm introverted. So I used to use drinking as like a crutch, a social crutch. Not that I realized it at the time, but when I got sober, it was really hard in the beginning because I was forced to learn how to cope with those situations, learn how to talk to people, and it sucked in the beginning, but I really believe that I have become a better and better and better person and more confident, like genuinely confident. So yeah, you have that to look forward to. Another thing is having a sober partner. So I'm very lucky that Luke eventually chose sobriety also. He didn't at first with me. He is just over 5 years sober now. I'm so grateful because life is just so much better with a sober partner. I feel like I would just be resentful all the time if I was with someone who drank. I could be around other people drinking, that's fine, but it's nice to have my teammate who's like in it with me and we're, I don't know, a team. And lastly, life is just simple in a good way. This sounds so obvious, but I'm just gonna say it. You know how I said earlier my life was like so chaotic? All these just bad things were happening all the time, or just, it was just drama, like always something going on. And that was kind of fun for a minute. But once I quit drinking, it was just like boom. Everything leveled out and got quiet and all of that stopped. And all of a sudden it was like this relief of like, ooh, I don't have to worry about getting a DUI now because I don't drink. I don't have to worry about crashing my car or being late for work or being hungover or still drunk trying to do hair for a wedding. Like all of those things are just like not taking up space in my brain anymore because they're not a concern anymore. Life is just so simple. I don't know if that sounds appealing or not, but yeah, I don't miss it. So that's it. We're gonna wrap it up. I love the community vibe of this topic, so please, please share your story down below, or your thoughts, or your questions, or your concerns. Thank you for being here. I love you guys, and I plan to be back here year 10 talking about this again.